And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, collectors of all ages. I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of Bring It Up, Bring It Up, Bring It, Bring It, Bring It Up. Welcome to Figure Reaction, everybody. I'm TruStarscreamer, and I'm really lucky tonight to have two awesome guests. We've got Kato from Kato's Collections and the one and only T-Man978, my fellow podcaster from the Figure Action Podcast. And tonight we are bringing to you the first, hopefully, in a series of discussion casts. This is not something I plan to be running every week. Again, ideally, I want to be trying to do these, say, once a month, of just topics that affect the collector community. Things that we kind of touch on in conversation that we just kind of really just I want to get in depth with. The idea for this is I want to have at least one person from the Figure Action Podcast and someone outside from that who not only pairs well with it, but brings in an entirely new perspective on things. Kato here is my first victim. I mean, just very gracious enough to help join us. And tonight we are talking about, as I call it, the Hasbro effect.
I feel like we're about to be in a corporate meeting. This is the PowerPoint.
A couple things I want to bring up. First of all, absolutely, if you can, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We've got some great people in the chat. We got Mariano here, we got Extra Zero. G Tony is in the house.
I know them.
Tony?
Deluxe Baldwin's here. This is going to be interesting.
I know him too.
I do plan on getting. Hopefully, we'll get you on the show. I have something very special for you, Deluxe.
It's going to be about legends, isn't it?
Not quite legends. It's going to be literally about everything. Of course, it's mentioned G Tony, effortlessly random. Oh yeah, this Tabi guy who I think you know, Kato.
Yeah, I think so.
And we got some class in the house, Mr. Mike Rogers. Again, he'll be a subject for the show as well. Since we are talking about Hasbro and we'll be talking about other companies, first thing I want to say, and I totally discourage, there will be no tribalism here. We are all talking about toys that we all collect. To symbolize no tribalism, I've got a Cobra Soldier and a Garrison Cavalry. They've traded hats and they're hugging it out because, dang it,
I'm gonna tribalize.
Because this is America, and if there's one thing we don't put up with in America is tribalism.
Not it.
There's a lot of jokes there that aren't appropriate.
You are allowed.
This ain't my channel.
You're allowed 3 your mom jokes, by the way.
No, those flow freely. I don't plan those.
Okay.
Did you get that from Heavy Spoilers?
Who?
I forgot the name of the channel, but it's this guy who reviews movies, and he always makes a mom joke.
Oh no, I've never heard of it. It just happened in randomly in one video, and then somebody said it was funny, and that's all it takes. Even though
I was gonna
funny.
steal it, but then I realized you were doing it, so I'm like, they're gonna say I'm stealing it from Kato.
I doubt that. Somebody will watch it and think I stole it from you.
So, this whole thing stemmed from, well, Hasbro's been making a lot of changes in their marketing. Hasbro's been making a lot of changes in their packaging and in their presentation. And it has affected everybody. Their business practices, they're not necessarily been some of the best ones as for optics wise. And that's a matter of opinion. I'm going to get into that. I mean, first we'll talk about what is Hasbro to us. they're the creator. They created all these great brands. You know, look what's behind Kato. Look what's behind me. You know,
There's almost no Hasbro back there.
but they created the brand. They're the ones who gave us that idea. And they feed us. As I said, they give us what we want. You know, from the GI Joe, from the Transformers, for the little kids, the My Little Pony. You know, they're one of the standards of here of the design and product. You know, again, we talk about. I got the Action Force and the Cobra Soldier here.
Mr. Potato.
These are figures that are near synonymous with each other. As far as their design, doesn't help that one of the same guys designed one for the other. And no matter what, again, when they bring something to the market, whether we collect mainline or not, we're still going to pay attention to what they do. Correct?
Very true.
Correct.
And again, feel free to interrupt and talk to me on this one. That's why I've got the top.
Well, I mean, like the first question right there is loaded. What is Hasbro to me? Hasbro is a means to an end. Honestly, I couldn't give a crap if Mattel sold GI Joe, I'd buy GI Joe. If you know whoever, it doesn't matter. I don't really care. I know that sounds terrible.
A little bit.
I mean, obviously I care about the people
right.
losing their jobs and all that. I don't want anybody to lose their job, and I said it last night. Anyone who loses their job at Hasbro, I hope they go and find a place where they can be as creative as they need to be, and you know, do their own thing or make boatloads of money making designs somewhere else. But Hasbro as a company to me, I don't love or hate because it's an inanimate object that sells things that I like and sells things that I don't like. That's all it is to me.
Okay. What about you, T-Man?
Pretty much the same thing. Hasbro is the people that sell like pretty much every single property that I'm in love with right now, from Transformers to GI Joe to Marvel. And in some cases they do it better than other companies for the retail price anyway. But sometimes they do backslide on certain things, like when you see they're making pinless joints and all that stuff, and then they come out with a wave that has pins in it again. But that's not the topic today. But yeah, they make a lot of things that I love.
Well, now we got to think, what is Hasbro when they look at themselves? They're a corporation. That's what it's the big thing. You know, and when you have a corporation, your job is to make that money. You know, they are a public shared company. They answer to their shareholders, their investors, and just like what you said, their brands are a means to an end.
Yeah, I'm not ever surprised to hear that the suits at the top at Hasbro aren't interested in what the fans want, and they only want to make money. The answer to that is absolutely. It's been that way since the beginning, and it ain't going to change. The especially like the big companies, but you got. I think it's cooler that we're seeing the faces of some of the designers and the design team and stuff like that, because I think they're the ones that actually care about making cool stuff. The guys in the suits upstairs, they want numbers. That's all they care about.
That's exactly true. I put it here that the Hasbro is the WWE of the toy industry, because those who know me, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and especially the Vince McMahon days in the last 5 years. They kind of took their product for granted, but as long as the money was coming in, they did whatever they wanted because that was the goal. So, you look at then versus now. Like I said, right now we're currently getting less product for more price. And these are just facts here. These are not opinions. They've got more brands than ever. We go to the toy aisle. We've got Dungeons and Dragons, My Little Pony, GI Joe, Marvel Legends. the media that they base their stuff on is the movies instead of it was hardly ever
Fortnite.
a TV show. I know Fortnite, but I mean, but their main media right now are the movies, the MCU. Again, Dungeons and Dragons. They got all the figures coming out for that.
Raiders of the Lost Ark
Exactly.
or
Mhm.
Indiana Jones.
Again, these are so they're flooding with brands. And so you can't go out without running into a Hasbro one. So this is like the then versus now. This is coming out right now for 2023. Just as an example of a Marvel Legend. You know, this is the new Ant-Man coming out on $1. It's going for $24.99. And with it, we get one pair of hands, not even a head. Here, again, $24.99, 3 accessories. Weapon, not even a new accessory. But this is pretty cool using the new buck. And where's my, hold on here. Okay, good. That'll be going through on there. Then also coming up for $27.99, 3 heads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accessories, but no extra hands.
You know,
Just
the thing about I was going to say the thing about the less product for more money, that always makes me laugh a little bit, because I imagine like our parents' generation collecting G.I. Joe 12-inch figures, and then the 80s roll around and they're 3 3/4 inches tall and made of plastic and rubber bands. You wonder if, I mean, my dad didn't care, but I'm sure at some point there was some adult 12-inch Joe collector that was like, these things are made of plastic. There's no soft goods in here. They're only this tall and they're still $8 or however much they were.
Oh, yeah. And again, these are just, I'm just right now just showing the examples here. Just last year, and somehow my slides got mixed up, and I apologize for that. But just last year, this was going for $2 less. And again, 1, 2, 5 accessories, 4 effects. So basically 9 extra pieces for $23 versus 2 hands, 2 weapons, and a Build-A-Figure piece. And now this is coming out. This just came out right now of nothing new at all.
Now, one outlier in this is this right here.
We're
not talking about that. That's an outlier, but
yeah, I hear that's an awesome figure. The crazy thing about the retro card things, I don't really get a lot of those. I don't do a lot of Marvel Legends much anyway. I'll get Spider-Man stuff here and there, but Spiral, yeah. But it does kind of suck to pay $28 for an on-card figure that you're not getting to build a figure piece or anything like that. I know I'm about to probably jump ahead, but the prices going up on Hasbro stuff, to me, just makes it easier for me to want independent stuff. It makes that jump a lot easier. We'll get there, I know.
Oh, absolutely. No. But that's the big thing. But what this is all coming to, again, we look at Transformers. This is the Leader Scourge coming out. $55. 8.5 inches tall. This one actually is one of the few ones that comes with 2 hands and a blade. The only thing painted on here is the chains, and the rest of it's plastic, the color plastic and waffle pieces. Versus 2017, the last Leader Prime that we had. Now, I will say, inflation, it's actually the same thing. I actually ran this through an inflation calculator. So basically, we're paying the same, but we got a larger figure, more solid.
I never liked that.
You didn't have, but that was just I'm just putting an example of a Leader class figure.
Both of them saved me. Both of those figures are saving me money.
Oh, absolutely. But it's kind of, again, what Jackman said. Hasbro they don't care. And they don't need to. all they care about as long as the toy's being bought, and they don't owe us, the fans, anything. And honestly, we don't owe them anything.
No, it is
Which
not
kind
a
of goes
it
to
is
what you were going to.
yeah,
I
it is
agree with
not
Benjamin.
a mutual relationship. They sell things. If I like the things they sell and the perceived value is there for me, and it's different for everyone. If I see a figure, I look at the price. Does my want for the figure validate the price they're asking for? If it does, I'll buy it. If it doesn't, I keep on walking. It didn't affect me one bit.
Pretty much. But I agree with Benjamin. It's not inflation in a lot of these cases. They're just raising the price and seeing if we'll still buy the stuff. Because all the toy companies are still pretty much the same price. Like the WWE stuff hasn't gone up too much. The Masters of the Universe hasn't gone up. And Hasbro's defense on WWE, they've been using those same bucks, I feel like,
Yeah,
forever.
I feel the same way about that. Except the argument you just had for WWE is the same thing for Master of the Universe. Master of the
Yeah.
Universe has like 3 molds that they put a few little bits of more plastic on and changed the paint.
Yeah.
I mean, if those prices went up to like $25, it would be a problem. At least,
Then
and there's
then you
plenty of
also get
reuse within Marvel Legends too. But still, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Marvel Legends half the fun with finding what they really used.
That's right. How many times are you going to get that Bucky Cap mold and that Spider-Man mold? But like Transformers is a different beast, right? It has to be. I mean, there's engineering involved in that, and I know it sounds like an excuse, but there are things about Transformers that make them much different than regular figures. Then there's engineering involved in transforming it. There's 2 modes. There's typically more plastic without some of the crappy ones with the waffles in there that look like turds. But I mean, there's reasons for one to go up over another, because if you're using the same buck, like you got 3 or 4 different bucks, and you can just slap a new color on there and call it, some other character name that is basically the same thing, then they can save money like that because they're just printing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. One thing about Transformers that I used to like is every time they came out with like a new brand name, you didn't get the same molds from the previous brand name.
Yeah.
But once they started coming out with Combiner Wars, they started integrating the Marvel Legends philosophy where we can use the same body type and just change a few things.
I can't stand that.
And now we're getting that all the time now. Like we could get something from Siege, even though that was 4 lines ago, and they just changed the top of the body and have the same legs.
You mean like
like the Laser Optimus is basically just the Earthrise Optimus Prime with a new upper body.
Or Air Razor, Rise of the Beast Air Razor. I mean,
it's
stuff like that.
That's conversely, you got McFarlane. McFarlane, he might have 14 Batmen, but 14 different Batmen.
I think the winner of the retail game right now, and I don't collect hardly any McFarlane, but the winner of the retail game right now is McFarlane. Like the biggest complaint you can have about that, besides like if you want heavy articulation, which doesn't really happen within McFarlane that often, but the biggest complaint that you could probably have about that is, do you want it to scale with your other figures, and are you tired of Batman? Like those, but overall, as far as like figure value, I think McFarlane has I think he's got the best deals out there for cool looking figures.
I do too.
So then we're kind of jumping in there. How does that affect us as collectors? As you just mentioned, you're passing on. Me, I used to I mean, I used to buy a Legends by the wave case, you know. I buy the entire Build-A-Figure thing, and it started. I was doing that every year until the Captain Marvel wave came out. That was the first one where I passed, and then all of a sudden, it's just been getting less and less and less. Same with Transformers and all.
That's been pretty much my thing. I used to buy the whole wave. Half of my problem is YouTube. Some stuff I was just buying because I wanted to review it.
Well,
But then
that goes to my second point. That goes to my second question. You know, as a reviewer, is the content worth the investment for you then?
Never.
no, not recently. Like maybe 4 years ago for me, it was. But right now it's a crapshoot. I never know what anybody's gonna watch. And my Marvel videos are doo-doo right now. So
I don't think I've ever on any one video. I don't think any one video has paid for the figure that I've done. Like it's never happened.
What about somebody like Shardamus or you know, we've talked about the Fushoff camera. You know, do you think they need to? They'll still be having to buy them all. Or do you think they'll start getting more selective?
I'm not sure they have to buy very much anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. They get press packets and whatnot.
And I mean, I'm sure they still spend their own money, but I don't think that it's. Yeah, I'm sure they do. They don't get everything for free, but I'm not going to be that guy that says, "Oh, crazy rich." We joke about it all the time that we get comments about rich YouTubers buying, and they think we are. Like they accuse us of being rich YouTubers. I wish if I would be a sellout in a minute. No pride. Sellout. No, I'm just
myself. Kidding. I have had several videos, maybe not right that same day, but I have had several videos that has paid for the figure. The one time I had one that paid for it right away was when I did Siege Springer. That video in the first week, it paid for the figure. I think I got 20,000 views in the first week.
I mean, I know yesterday, Kato, you were mentioning in your off the rails, you know, why you give so many positive videos, because, you know, you're reviewing something that you bought with the intent to own.
Oh yeah, I used to get, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but I used to get those comments like, you know, every video I'll watch of yours, which isn't exactly true, but like every video I'll watch of yours, you like it. You never dislike a figure. Like, well, I bought it, and I'm not going to buy something that I don't think I'm going to like. And I've jokingly said, if you want me to review something that you don't think I'll like, I have a PO box. Feel free to send it. But I'm not going to buy something to review it if I'm at least not pretty sure that I'll at least want it. You know, I'm not buying stuff just to review. I have in the past, very, very seldom, and I've always regretted it. Like, I don't do a lot of buyer's remorse, but every single time that I've bought something to think, hey, I haven't seen anybody review this yet, I should review it first, which is a horrible mentality to have. But it happens. I'm sure it probably happened to all of us at some point.
Yeah.
But I always regret it every single time that I don't buy something that I wanted in the first place. Now, I've been lucky. I've gotten a kind of a short-term sponsorship with TF Safari, which allows me to be able to get stuff that I may not have normally bought, you know. So there's much more likelihood of me getting something that I'm like, oh, I wasn't going to buy that, but I am kind of interested in it to find out if it's decent, or, you know, I wouldn't have spent X amount of dollars on that, but if I can get it at a bit of a discount or something like that, then I'll give it a shot. So it's more likely to happen now, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm only going to buy stuff with my money that I'm fairly certain that I'm going to at least like a little bit. Yeah, now I can be disappointed from there, but
that's my same mentality. The things that I buy, I buy it because I think it's gonna be good. It's
Yeah, you
only
want it.
rare times where I'd be like, I should review this. But typically I want it. The things I'm most critical on is something somebody gave me that I didn't ask for.
Yeah, yeah. Or if you just get that, there's a couple figures that it's become a joke on my channel that the Zeta Bumblebee is like my go-to for horrible things that I thought were going to be good. But I mean, there's some Joe figures that I really wanted the character, and I'm glad I have the character, but the figure is trash. Like it won't stand up. It has wobbly hips. Got some Shakira hips going on or something like that. But there's plenty of that. But I still wanted the character in the collection for the nostalgia of it.
Oh, and that Marvel Legends with the female bucks with the high, well, pretty much any female figure with high heels is like that. To be honest.
Yeah,
So
pretty
do you
much any
think that?
female Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think in general the all in the whole as the Pokemon got to catch them all mentality is probably going to be dying out now for the brand for the collectors?
It is for me.
I mean,
Like
I
you
don't.
said about the Marvel Legends, a few years ago, I was like, I don't need a whole wave, or I'm like, you know what? I want this Build-A-Figure, but I don't want the other 5 characters that I would need to get that Build-A-Figure. Like
Mhm.
the one with Howard the Duck right now. I'm like, I only want He Who Remains and Jimmy Woo, and I don't want anything else in that wave. So I'm like, I'm never gonna get Conchu.
Hey, Benjamin asked example, Kato. Example of what? A G.I. Joe figure that was kind of trash? The first Zartan that came out was horrible. That thing was like it was held together with paper mache.
I like them.
I mean, I liked it. I liked having Zartan, but it's like you grab him by the legs, he's basically like a maraca. He was rocking. He was shaking back and forth like crazy. Um,
That
is
might
there some
be.
more? The first Duke had a hard time standing up. I didn't like him.
The Duke figure
I mean,
in general, yeah.
yeah.
Some of that is your mileage will vary because my
Oh yeah,
my
100%.
Zartan wasn't.
That's another thing that I want that can't stress enough. If someone if there's 5 people out there that's reviewed a figure and 3 of those people out there had horrible QC, but I review a figure and my figure is fine, don't come at me. I can only review the one in front of me. I'm not reviewing somebody else's figure.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't have a problem with it and mine works great, don't get pissed or get pissed. Do whatever you want. Just I don't care.
Well,
Yeah, I usually have something to complain about, so people haven't been coming at me for that. Even if I still like the
well,
figure.
now we have this, as I put here. Who's going to fill the niche? We mentioned we've got Action Force with Bobby Valla. When that came out, the first wave was okay. Then the second wave blew everybody away. And I mean, I love the fact of his transparency. Personality is it takes a little to get used to, but his company, I think, is being held pretty solid. Savage Crucible just came out is currently running probably one of the most craziest Kickstarters I have ever seen. I mean, that hit all 3 waves. I mean, it hit all the has it hit all the goals, I think.
Yeah, all 3 waves are
even,
unlocked. I think it's I know I backed wave 1. I'll probably I don't know if I'll back the rest of them or if I'll get more of them through BBTS or something like that. Yeah, I'm not all in on that. Animal Wars of the Kingdom, I'm pretty much all in. That one has been impressive.
And do you think that these I mean, of course, I mentioned the 4 hordes, the 4 horsemen, the mythic legions, now they're cosmic legions. I think this is going to supplement our kind of gotta catch them all mentality, that we had with with things like Marvel Legends, like you just said.
Not for me. For me, it's
Okay.
still the Marvel Legends thing. I'm only going to collect the characters I care about.
Yeah, and
that
I'm
I
the same
think
way.
look cool because a lot of these cost more, and a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at this list, I don't care anything about them except maybe the Action Force.
Yeah, I've liked pretty much everything that Action Force has put out. I am excited for them to get some new bucks. I know
Yes,
he's
yes.
talking about some different sized bucks. I'm glad that the female wave exists because that gave us at least 2 new female bucks. I
You've
think
bought more of them than me. Has there ever been a figure that you took out the package and you could just pull their hands off with no problem?
no, not their hands. Their hands have always been pretty tight. I
I
haven't had to
that
heat anything up yet.
I have.
But I think the hands are probably the only thing that I really thought like I'm gonna have to heat it up for this because
I
those are
think
pretty tight.
actually, this Garrison Cavalry figure, I think this one you can do that. I haven't had any problem. This is my favorite of all that I've bought from them. I think that one,
Kill
these figures are probably the best.
Kill Switch. I opened. I was playing a game, and in the middle of that, I was opening it. I was trying to pull her hand off. Then I tried to pull it out with my
Oh,
teeth. I was like,
the female wave,
my
the
teeth
female
might come
wave
out
hands are
before
super
the
tight.
hands.
Oh,
Yes.
oh. I mean,
Yeah, I
I've
probably had
blatantly
more
said
trouble with the female hands than I have any others. But I know they've got some larger stuff coming. They're going to do their Vala Fair to announce some new molds. They've hinted at a larger male, muscular male mold. I understand that, especially for an upstart company. You know, you're not going to come out with 20 different molds right out of the gate. You're gonna kit bash your own stuff as much as you can with some new paint. I forgive a lot of that for military figures because in my head it's uniform, so it doesn't really bother me that they have similar stuff that much in like a military line. I think Animal Warriors of the Kingdom and um, Four Horsemen, Mythic Legions do a good job of repainting and reaccessorizing the bucks enough to where they don't feel the same. Um, and
but
that's a big key. If you're gonna do it, at least camouflage it enough to make it feel fun.
but I mentioned on here the Operation Monster Force because I found it interesting. Even Big Bad Toy Store is getting into this independent toy line, with their own IPs.
Yeah, that was
Some
brought up
of
last night. I had never heard of it, but I'm gonna look into it.
yeah, some of them look interesting to me. The BBTS stuff, but and I think from what I can remember on the pricing, they were a good price for the amount of accessories you get.
They're right up there with Action Force. They're about that $30, $32, $40 price point.
Yeah,
And here's what I brought up last night, and I think it's fitting to bring up now is like when you get to that 28 32 $35 Marvel Legends GI Joe range of a price for a figure, 45 or more if you're going to do like the Snake Eyes Timber set or something like Crocmaster or whatever. There was a time when I would look at Mythic Legions or even something like Animal Warriors or Savage Crucible. Not as much Valaverse. I think Valaverse is probably, as far as the indie companies go, I think they're the most reasonably priced for their figures, for what you get. But like when you're looking at with shipping 40, I got a couple of Mythic Legions. They with shipping they were like $50. I would not have done that 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. I probably would have been like, "Oh, that's a bit much for a 6-inch figure." But when you start seeing Legends and GI Joe make it up to 28, 35, $40, it's easier for me to walk away from a Joe and pick up a Mythic Legions now.
Well, that was like when I got Kamakura. He was like $32, and he was all reuse, and he had a lot of weapons. But I'm sitting there going, like, I spent that much for that, and then for the same price I paid Kamakura, I got this guy who is a better figure.
Kamakura for GI Joe. That was the first time I felt ripped off.
Yes.
Now Sergeant Slaughter was the same price, but I felt like he came with everything that he needed.
Well,
Mhm.
And most of it was new.
Did you feel ripped off with Serpentor?
By $20, yes.
Yeah, I think it was overpriced. I don't, and this is just my collection. I don't give a crap how pretty you make. Like, I don't care about big fold out packaging and bifold boxes that look really pretty. That doesn't matter to me. We were talking about packaging earlier. I'm such a hypocrite when it comes to packaging, and here's why. I don't like Marvel Legends closed box. I don't like Transformers with the no window. I don't keep either box. I trash all that. But at the same time, every third, like 99.9% of every third party figure I've ever bought for Transformers, I've never seen the inside of I've never seen the inside of the packaging until I cut the tape. So I don't know. I'm kind of a self-proclaimed hypocrite on that. I don't like the closed packaging because when I go to a store, I want to see inside the box. Mostly because I just don't trust people to be what's actually in there.
That's actually a very valid thing. I mean, if I'm going to get something like that, might as well just get it from Amazon or get it from an online retailer, because if it's going to be a crapshoot anyway, at least I know it's coming from a sealed box.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. I don't worry about the packaging so much. If the packaging is pretty, like I like the look of these Fortnite packaging where it's a big, beautiful picture right there, and then you see the character. That jumps out at me.
So on that note, like, if you're going to do closed box pack, the one that stands out the most to me is the No Way Home 2-pack with the Tom Holland figure. You know, if you're going to do sealed packaging, don't put 3D renders on the box.
Actually, one of my favorite was the Venom 3-pack. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, well, no, I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen like stuff of it.
It was all that artwork on there was gorgeous, you know.
But I want to see, like, at least on the back of the box, give me actual photos of the figure inside. I don't want 3D renders on a pack. At least let me see what the figure is supposed to look like actually inside, rather than an artistic 3D render that was promo art. I don't want to see that. Give me something.
That's true. Even though this mold existed, all of these are renders.
Well, going back to with the smaller toy companies. You know, there are some definite pros of working with the toy companies. You know, probably one of the biggest ones is these are passion projects. Again, you cannot say that Vala does not have passion for his figures. If you've been in the whole Savage Crucible thing, they've been doing a great job of documenting every aspect from the prototype to the paint job. Your work with Jason, you know how much love he's thrown into the Warriors, the AWOC stuff.
Yeah, and it's a completely different animal when you're trying to, like, most of everything that we collect, for the most part, Fortnite aside and stuff like that, there's nostalgia attached to it. I mean, the risk it takes to have a new IP is crazy. When there's no, you're selling to the adult collector, but the adult collector that you're selling to has no 20, 30 year connection to this thing. And the only way you can beat that is by making really cool looking crap that feels nostalgic.
And that goes to the potential cons. Well, I'll go back to the pros on here.
One of the reasons why I haven't been having a problem with paying a little extra for these companies is because they don't have as much money as Hasbro has to make the stuff at a cheaper price. So now it seems crazy that Hasbro can make the stuff cheaper, but they're trying to get to this independent company or import price level, even though they don't really have to.
But that's the thing, it's they're like I said, they with an independent company, they do more because they're actually running at that lower profit margin. Hasbro is making random number, 60 cents on every 40, 60 cents on a profit on there, but the independent company might only be making 20 cents profit per figure type of thing, different margin. Actually, Hasbro probably making a hell of a lot more than that, but still.
Yeah.
I
mean, Inutabi brought up something that I really didn't think about last night until he brought it up, and that was, especially when it comes to like HasLab transformers. There should be no waffles, no gaps, no nothing. When you set that HasLab price, it needs to include solid plastic. Like even if it's $199, but you could sell each one for $220, and Victory Leo doesn't have any waffles in his thighs, and the cannons that sit front facing the entire time are holes all under it. I mean, I think that's fairly inexcusable, especially for a HasLab. I know it's got to fit into the Legacy or the Generations toy line, but when you're selling down at that point, and if you're gonna put something up as a I don't even count them
premium
as crowdfunded, but it's a premium, not MP, but still a premium figure, then your crowdfunding price before you go into any stretch goals needs to say that this is going to have solid legs and the guns aren't going to be hollow.
I agree with that, but the reality is they know that they plan on selling those figures retail some type of way, whether they admit it or not. It might be 10 years from now, or it might be 5 years from now, but we're probably going to get Star Saber or Victory Leo separately some type of way. And so they gotta make it the cheap way.
Yep, there's going to be some kind of weird repaint or slight difference that's going to change it up a little bit. It'll be sold as two different pieces.
Shattered glass.
Something's going to happen to where they can keep their word that Victory Saber was only available at HasLab, but there's going to be some Star Saber repaint that fits somehow. And they're not going to let money sit for the whole time.
But the thing with Hasbro, like I said, the execs, they've got a disconnect from the consumer, and that's what's putting on here that that with the smaller companies, they got their finger on the response of the fans, of the consumer.
Well, yeah, for sure. If I send a customer service email to Hasbro, God only knows who's going to pick that letter up. But I mean, if I send something to Spiro Toys or Valaverse or probably Mythic Legions, I haven't had to deal with them yet, but something like that, there's odds are somebody pretty high up in the company is going to be looking at it. Because they don't have anybody else.
Now, there are, working with the smaller companies, there's still some cons. Probably the biggest ones that T mentioned. There is no nostalgia. There is no media connection. We're taking a chance on the quality. Again, that first wave of Valaverse was a great example. And then taking a chance on the end product. If we're doing a Kickstarter, how awesome is it? How is it going to be? And then the reason I put it last one, directly impacted by world events. I mean, if any of the, anything we've learned in the last 5 years, whether it be the shipping issues from Asia, who knows what's about to happen with our train lines here, to be honest,
Cosmic Legion was supposed to come out in December and November.
But I'm saying Hasbro can literally absorb that blow, but a smaller company, that could absolutely devastate them.
Yeah, it's like Mariano just said, the small companies don't have a choice. They have to be in touch with the fan base. If not, they're screwed. You're not going to, they have to be front and center. I think Jason has a hard time being front and center for Spiro just because his internet sucks. But then, but he's got folks like Jeremy that's doing the board game. He's asked me to help a lot with the stuff with like the podcast, loosely named podcast for Animal Wars of the Kingdom. Just so he's got some folks that he's trying to draw on, but and he's good on social media. Like he posts stuff through the Kickstarter and pictures and stuff on Instagram and what have you. But he has a hard time doing the live stuff because literally his internet is garbage. He'll tell you that. But Bobby Valla, with the 3POA podcast, he's been pretty much front and center with it, starting the YouTube channel for Action Force, giving updates and stuff like that. So he really, probably more than anyone right now, is involved face front with the fans for the positive or the negative. I mean, there's plenty of people that don't like his personality and stuff like that, but he's, I mean, love him or hate him, he's who he is, and he makes what he makes, and buy it or don't buy it.
I was very incredibly impressed with him how he handled the Dork Side Toys issue, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
The dude does some cool stuff. This last set of weapons kit that he had that came in the collector's tin, like I thought, I mean, it seems kind of silly and gimmicky, but he put a video out of him putting like $20, $100, a few $100 inside the cans that people got. I mean, if you were lucky enough to order that can and get one of them, you got money. I mean,
who else does videos like that? Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, so I mean that kind of stuff matters. I mean, it's Hasbro's not going to do that. I mean, that's just crazy. No. It would be ridiculous. And even if they did, the chances to get anything like that would feel like a slap in the face. We're putting $100 in 20 Marvel Legends figures. Yeah, well, that could end up anywhere. Nobody's going to get
it. Oh, Lord. They probably did that about 10 years ago. But unfortunately, the case that has the money in it is still in the back of some Walmart somewhere.
Yeah, it's some Target employee picked that up a long time ago. So yeah, I think that they do a good job. Again, like them or hate them, they do a good job of being in front of the fans, and people love to use the word transparency. If there's an issue, they don't have a choice but to face it head on. And we're talking pretty much limited to American toy companies. Outside, the one standalone with that is Ramen Toys. I mean, Ace is out there on video talking about stuff all the time, getting fans' opinions, and has changed complete designs numerous times based on what the fans have asked for, which is tricky because fans are finicky bitches and they want to change up everything. But I mean, he changed the entire design of this first Machina mask remake release because fans didn't like how it looked.
Didn't that get kiboshed? Didn't Hasbro actually stop them
for the Machina? Yeah, the mask thing? No, oh. That's still coming. Well, I can't say for certain. As of the other day when he was on the live stream, it's still coming.
Okay, I thought for some reason they got hit with that.
Listen, if he's going to get hit with anything, it's going to be the Church of Scientology slapping him in the face over the Maverick figure. That I see that happening more than anything else. Because even the Silverhawks, he's going to do those in another Titanium Titans, I think he's going to call them. He's going to not finish, but he's going to do more Silverhawks.
But probably get them out before Super 7 does.
Probably look better than Super 7s too.
Hasbro could put mask figures in the kiddie section. They could just have like a 5 VOA guy and a vehicle.
I think mask could re-release as is. The only problem is vehicle licensing because they all look too much like real vehicles. So,
well, like actually, I put one of the groups. I think mask would fit great in the G.I. Joe line. To be honest, like you take the Ram cycle and change the sidecar, and that could be turned into a Piranha. Yeah. And then just have the rest just literally be just the mask guys in their masks, since maybe not necessarily their vehicles, but
I mean, I'd be all on board with just completely reissued figures, except give them elbow articulation. But again, they would probably end up having to remold a lot of them because you're not going to have, you know, a Firebird and a Jeep, and it's not going to. It can't be a direct.
They
copy.
don't have problem getting licenses for Transformers.
Yeah, but you're gonna pay for them too. Benjamin says, "Please explain. Please explain what."
I don't know. They don't make the price of Jazz won't be higher. I mean, Mirage won't be higher because it says Porsche on it.
Mm.
And they've been putting licensings on their figures for years. Since the
That
early
may be
2000s.
it may actually be that actually may be grandfathered in with the Transformer the movie license though.
No, I mean like since they started, they put Viper on the Robots in Disguise figure, Sideburn. At first, it wasn't officially licensed, but when they re-released it, they put Dodge Viper on there.
Yeah. Oh, Benjamin Whitcomb wanted you to explain the Scientology statement.
Oh, because Ramen Toys is making a Tom Cruise Maverick figure, and Tom Cruise has been hell bent on not having his likeness in toy form. That's been a battle, an Alamo that he's willing to die on, is not having a likeness in toy form. And Ace is like, screw you from China, I'm making one. And I will be. I mean, they all got a slap on the wrist already for Silverhawks. But yeah, I think if someone in the right place shares a video in and around Tom Cruise, I think Ace would get a phone call.
I thought with the Silverhawks that they got the Super 7 gave them the license, and they were operating under Super 7's license.
Yeah, which is also why Super 7 got a slap on the wrist, because I believe, I'm going to say I believe, because I won't say I know, that basically who is it? Whoever really owns the Silverhawks license, forget, it was Universal or whoever owns it, was like, it's not yours to give away. Pretty much. I think Brian had a video. Brian from Super 7 did a video on it and kind of hinted around about it, and then Ace mentioned more openly that he had to stop calling it Silverhawks. So we got two from that so far. Oh, his were a lot better. The Super 7 ones look doofy. They are the definition of the problem with cartoon accuracy.
Valid.
Silverhawks.
So
their G.I. Joe figures look good. They're not out yet, right?
No.
The Super
7. No, not yet. Yeah, I think those probably look the best of. Those look the best in tune accuracy than anything else. I think, because I think they looked pretty good back in the 80s, really. But yeah, the Super 7 Silverhawks are accurate to a fault.
Unfortunately, the fault is the problem.
Yeah, well, that's half the problem for me. But yeah, that's.
So my final, I guess our final wrap up on this was, asking the future of collecting, which I think we've kind of alluded on here. Will it still be Hasbro centric? Probably not. It sounds like, we're all going to be kind of going. Well, actually, T-Man, what about you? Do you think your collecting is still going to be Hasbro centric, or do you think you're going to be branching further out?
It's going to be Hasbro centric because those are the characters I care about. Okay. Those other companies don't make things that I care about. So there is that.
That goes back to my con of the independent toy company. So,
but if they start costing too much, then I'm going to have to make a decision.
Actually, there's a valid one. Do you think then that you would get out if they start costing too much? Would you then be would you be open to collecting the smaller stuff, or do you think you just might phase out of collecting in general?
I will more than likely phase out, because I'm not going to just buy things just to be buying them. Now, I am going to be a problem when that Spider-Man the PS4 Spider-Man 2 comes
Yeah,
out,
that's
that's
gonna be tough.
$35. I'm gonna buy that. I already
Yeah.
know because I like it.
And that, you know what? I look forward to your video. I know some things like that. I mean, I actually did not put that on my list on purpose because that's always been a hot topic one, but that I know I've beaten to death the Marvel Legends Ronin. That's just that Marvel Legends Ronin. That's just a Colossus repaint. That was a $20 figure, and making that into a $40 figure for no reason. You know, things like that I can't do. The Blob figure, I want it. I really want
Oh
it.
yeah, I'm not paying that much on the Blob. He's
Even
gonna
though
have to be on clearance,
What are they
even
asking for that?
like $56.
Was it the Build-A-Figure just redone?
No,
no,
it's a new mold,
Okay.
but it's a deluxe figure. But they skipped the deluxe price. Like it should be like $38 max.
Mhm.
They jumped all the way to 56.
Well, you and I both recently went through that, T-Man. We both found like I was interested in at least trying some of the Earthspark Transformers figures
yeah.
because I thought they looked kind of fun. But we both went through it like within a day of each other of buying it at full retail and then finding out the next day that they were like, oops, marking this down.
I didn't pick it up until I found out it was cheaper. I
Mojo
refused to
did the
pay
opposite.
$25.
Oh, I went back. I went back and got my $5 back.
Target's pretty
Yeah,
good
the
about
next day the price tag was changed the very next day.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's no way I can pay $25 for this.
Yeah, not for a Cyberverse style figure. That Megatron is.
I didn't even review that.
I love the design of that Megatron, but good lord, it was like it was made. You know the plastic that you get at Easter that has like the plastic eggs you get at Easter that has the like the sweet tarts inside of it and stuff. That's what Megatron feels like.
Well, they did that before with their Prime Robots in Disguise line. I literally got one figure from that. I picked up their Grimlock, and I was like, what the hell did I pay? That was one of the few times I bought something just for the sake of reviewing and utterly regretted it. You know, this right here. Clearance, once again, clearance. It's it's great when it pays off, but it is a gamble. You know, if you're waiting for what you want to go on clearance, because sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I lucked out getting that Fortnite Sky figure for $6. I had no. I found a Power Ranger motorcycle figure for $14. That was normal. That when it came out was $30.
It's a super gamble. I'm trying to think of some figures. Like the first and second wave of they re-released them recently, but the Black Panther figures for Marvel Legends, like they literally stayed in stores for 1 month, and after that they were gone. Like they were readily available for like a month, and then they disappeared.
And some figures don't go clearance nationwide. The Peter Parker Ned Leeds 2-pack. I saw it. I saw people posting it was being sold for $20 in some Targets. It never went for closeout in North Carolina.
I never saw it on clearance. I never wanted that one. I didn't. I don't buy a lot of figures from movie lines because of like I like the cartoon and comic looking molds. Like when they try to the uncanny valley factor of the real life human faces on figures that I see as comic book characters and stuff kind of messes with me a little bit.
Well, but you got to remember the kids today, you know, the actual intended person to own these figures.
Oh, pshaw.
Are watching the movies. They're not
Screw them
watching
kids.
the that we watch. Yeah, you know, F them kids. But
I don't care about them kids. I ain't got no kids. I ain't worried about your kids.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the one. That's the media they're getting it from. They're getting it from Disney Plus because they're watching all the Avengers movies. And I'm kind of jealous of them because I can rewatch an Avengers movie. I tried rewatching a G1 cartoon and rewatching old G.I. Joe one. I could not make it through.
I can still watch old G.I.
I
Joe.
can watch
I
G.I. Joe.
I have a hard time watching. Every once in a while, I'll go through and watch G1 again. I'm a realist, so I'm a G1 fan through and through, but I'm also a realist. Um, what was it I said yesterday? If if MP10 or MP01 was just a 12-inch tall G1 Optimus Prime, it wouldn't have sold near as much because it's an ugly figure that has some really brilliant nostalgia.
Well, I
You
agree
know,
with that.
it's
So-
just they're not pretty. Most of them, they're pretty in like a nostalgic artsy way, but they're not pretty figures.
I can watch G1 and G.I. Joe, but not
Yeah.
too many other shows. I can't watch Thundercats and He-Man. He-Man,
I can watch
good Lord.
Thundercats. I watch He-Man and laugh out loud at it. I tried watching Mask again. Oh, let that one stay in your head.
Yeah.
Um,
that goes
He-Man
back.
was painful.
And actually, so was Voltron. That was the thing I loved when when Netflix did their Voltron cartoon. They said we tried watching Voltron, we couldn't, so they made the Voltron to try to be like the Voltron you quote unquote remembered with the rose color.
yeah.
Now
They
I
did a good
did.
job.
I do remember watching Voltron like 2 in the morning on Cartoon Network, and I was laughing the whole time. I was like, they would say things like, "It's a good thing those guys were robots," and I'm like, "No, they're clearly dead people."
But I mean, there was still good stuff from the '80s. Mike's been here watching Robotech. Robotech was phenomenal. That one actually I could watch all the time. I read all the books. I had the DVDs. Sky Commanders, Spiral Zone. I loved. That was when I thought Ramen Toys could do a great job with doing the Spiral Zone figures. But
Gummy bears.
oh God,
I used to love gummy bears.
I love the theme song.
Yeah.
But
That's one I can't get out of my head.
It's 10 o'clock. We've been doing this for about an hour. I think we definitely poured through the topic. So I think this is a good wrap-up point.
Deluxe.
I really want to Kato, T-Man, thank you guys very much for taking the time and joining me for this. I think this has been a very good conversation. And again, for you guys who've been watching, I mean, we've got over 44 viewers. That's absolutely awesome. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification channel. Please sub if you haven't already, sub up to Kato's collection. Is that K's with both?
Yes, 2
Kato
Ks.
and collection with Kato.
Just 2 Ks. I couldn't do 3 Ks.
Yeah,
It would get me canceled.
Like Mortal
If he had 3
Kombat.
Ks, he wouldn't be here with the Jew and a black guy. No,
Hey, if we walk into a bar, we make a great joke. A redneck? Yeah, that was. I'm not a redneck, not anymore. I've graduated beyond. I'm like a pink neck now.
of course, T-Man978, his channel, click the video. Me, TruStarscreamer. I'm starting to get those videos out right. I'm trying to get those videos up right
and we
now.
have a giveaway going on our channel, so
yes,
check our
and of course
uploads.
This is the Figure Action Podcast channel where we have our merch at the Teespring store every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Please check out our previous videos with the extra zero with the giveaway on here. We definitely want to get you guys some free stuff because we do bribe for views. No, kind of like your mom. No, wait.
I don't.
How was that?
That's only on her OnlyFans,
I guess. But again, thank you guys very much, gentlemen. Thank you so much. And for you guys, if you have any topics you think we should join, please put it in the comments below. You can catch me on TruStarscreamer on Instagram. Slide in my DMs from there. My wife won't get too jealous because it's coming from you guys, from my fellow geeks. Well, she might get jealous if Kato slides into them because, dang, look at that.
Is this going to be a Richard pick if I do it?
Oh. Wait. You're talking Nixon, the President Nixon, right?
Yeah, sure.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.